Welcome back. Protesting students of the College of Education, Ekeadolo, earlier today caused a gridlock on the Shagamu-Benin Expressway that lasted for several hours. The students barricaded the expressway at the Ekeadolo axis in protest against the industrial action embarked upon by their lecturers and the state government's seeming indifference to the lecturers' demand. A detachment of soldiers later arrived at the scene and chased away the students, who then withdrew to their campus, only to destroy facilities in the school.
Benin-Lagos Expressway taken over by angry students of the College of Education, Ekeadolo, resulting in this gridlock. These travelers have been stuck here for hours, and it looks like it's going to be a long wait.
We bought from Onitsha to Lagos, but we've been here for more than 4 hours.
The students say they are tired of incessant industrial actions by their lecturers, who are about to embark on a third strike within the last 2 months over 16 months salary arrears owed them by the state government.
They first went on a 3 days warning strike. They came back and they also went for a 7 days warning strike. And now they are telling us again that they want to go on a 2 weeks work to rule strike. No, enough is enough.
Those lecturers deserve their wages. They deserve the best so that they can equally give us good education. We need good protection of knowledge. So our pain is let the government come to our aid. We are not fighting for nothing. We want them to know that we are going through a lot.
The angry students also lamented the poor conditions in which they live in the institution.
There's no infrastructure. As many of you talking about, we are in Kobe. This is not my school. Because I know the pain they are passing through, I have to fly all the way from my school down to here with a Luta jet so that I'll come and be a part of the struggle. We are saying no to injustice. Yes. We are not living here. And as I'm talking to you, I've made a call to my school. The students should join, and before you know, there will be 1 million students in this place.
The protesters, who were later allegedly dispersed by security officers, turned their rage on Channels Television's news crew and beat up our cameraman, damaging his camera in the process. They also made away with his phone. Meanwhile, the students have vowed to stage more protests if their demands are not met.
The government of Ogun State is stepping up efforts towards delivering improved infrastructure to its people. The beneficiaries are residents of Ayetoro, where the ongoing reconstruction of the Ayetoro Road is almost complete. The state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, who visited Ayetoro, was received by residents who used the opportunity to endorse him for a second term.
This bell toll is ushering in a new dawn for residents of Ayetoro in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State. And this is the reason. The #1 citizen of the state is on an inspection tour of an estimated 50-kilometer Ayetoro Road project. As he makes his way down, this crowd of excited residents show their pleasure.
Within a week, 2, 3, there will be always accidents here and there. But no, there's no accident at all.
Amidst jubilation, however, is a call for more.
We are looking for a job. Almost must apply more workers to do work.
We endorse you if you want to run as governor for 3 times. With the road you have done in Ayetoro, we say thank you, and God will continue to lift you up.
With this type of development springing up in the state, it may appear the joy of the citizens of Ogun may well be justified.
The prominence of Lagos grew after the abolition of the slave trade in the 19th century. Some of the freedmen from Brazil who settled in Lagos came with the culture they imbibed during slavery, one of which was Brazilian architecture. Their mastery of the art gave Lagos a face that could be attested to by some of the structures still standing till date. However, modern urbanization seems to pose some threat to this long-standing Brazilian building style. In our community report tonight, our correspondent, Chris Illems, examines this changing phase.
Etisala, now you're talking.
The story of slavery has not always been that of blood, sweat, and tears. In fact, most of the returnees came back with skills in various professions, such as bricklaying, carpentry, masonry, and a lot more. And the mark of their expertise still dot most part of the city today, such as this massive building behind me. Welcome to the changing faces of Lagos. In order to situate Lagos, as it were, and appreciate the architectural dexterity of some of the returnees from Brazil, we paid a visit to Bambushe Street on Lagos Island. This area is today home to the descendants of some of the freedmen who returned to West Africa in the 19th century. My tour guide is Coyote Gaspar da Silva, a top official of the Brazilian Descendants Union. He schools me on some distinguishing features of the average Brazilian building style that was once the in thing in building and design.
Most of the distinguishing features you are going to see in a typical Brazilian house is, first of all, from outside, if you see a Brazilian house, you must see an arch-shaped window, which is very common. Nearly all the Brazilian houses had an arch-shaped window, and their door have a kind of it has a kind of a Gothic shape as a lintel to depict the beauty of the building.
While some of these structures still stand firm, such as these places of worship built some 2 centuries ago, others, including this building that once housed one of the prominent men way back when, Campos, is begging for attention, just as many more, fueling speculations that these legacies may not just be running down, but might be destroyed too.
There is a state law done in 2011 which preserves and restores most of these buildings. The entire campus area, that they fall under category C, all of them. They are to be maintained by their present owners, and they are only that you cannot restore them, you cannot do anything to them without the permission of His Excellency through this ministry.
These structures have suffered neglect due to urbanization, but it seems the builders knew something modern-day designers hardly consider.
If a building of 100 and something years could still be as strong after 100 and something years later, definitely we can't compare modern-day builder with olden days architectural designs and builders.
Okay. If you look at it now today, you will see houses that there's no space for even leg to move at all. There's no space for breeze to come into. There's no space for children to play.
Clearly, yes, they were better those days. You don't have that kind of workmanship going on now. They were better in that respect. But yes, if you go to Victoria Island and Ikoyi, you see some modern structures coming up, and they are architectural masterpieces. They are nice.
As population growth rate skyrockets, more high-rise buildings come on stream. The Lagos skyline takes a different feel. No doubt, present-day reality has brought about an explosion in urban renewal and developmental projects across the states.
We have to be realistic with what is happening. There's a housing deficit. We should say that Lagos should grow vertically up. We should have a lot more high-rises rather than single structures in a particular land space.
Lagos has, and it's still experiencing lots and lots of changes. But in the face of this tide sweeping through the state, the legacy of the early settlers and early builders must be put into consideration in terms of quality and durability of structure, because that's the only way we can ensure quality development. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Next on the news at 10 is Business News with Joke Rogers.
First Bank.
Thank you, Bimbo. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria has dropped 7 places in the World Economic Forum's Global Competitive Index report for this year. The report, which covers 2014 to 2015, now puts Nigeria in the 127th position. It attributes the fall to the country's weakened public finances owing to lower oil exports, continuing institutional frailty and security challenges in some parts of the country. Well, this latest report sent to Channels Television shows only 3 sub-Saharan countries, Mauritius, South Africa and Rwanda, in the top half of the world's most competitive economies. Overall, Switzerland emerged the most competitive country for the 6th consecutive year, closely followed by Singapore, the United States, Finland and Germany. Directors in Techno Electric and Engineering Company are to be prosecuted, while the company itself will be banned from securing federal government contracts. Well, this follows its failure to execute the contract for a power substation in Amasiri, Ebonyi State, within the agreed time frame. The Minister of State for Power, Wakili Mohammed, told State House correspondents after the weekly council meeting that the contract has been re-awarded. Also approved by the Federal Executive Council is the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2014 to 2043. Our State House correspondent, Chukwuma Onekusi, reports.
The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2014 to 2043 is said to be the first of its kind, and it is in line with the Vision 2020. By the time it's rolled out, it will match that of any economy in the world.
We believe that for Nigeria to really move to the top of the leading country in the world, there's need for us to increase our investment outlay in the areas of infrastructure. Right now, where we are now is about 20 to 25% of GDP. And for us to really catch up as a country, you know, we have to be at par with such countries as Indonesia, China, and Germany.
The council approved the sum of $5.8 million to be spent on the expansion of power transmission supply in Ebonyi State and some parts of Cross River State, while in the transport sector, €2.9 million will be spent for the provision of boats for use in the nation's ports.
These tugboats are essential for efficiency and indeed to ensure effectiveness of service delivery to the ship companies.
On 1st of December 2010, Council awarded this contract to Messrs. Techno Electric and Engineering Company. But because of non-performance, the contract has been terminated and awarded to a new contractor, Mrs. North China Power Engineering Company Limited, and NCEP Nigeria Limited as the subcontractor for the project.
Chukwuma Onekusi, Channels Television News.
Now let's turn our attention to the stock market, where the indices fell 0.14% in midweek trading today. Here's a summary by Victor Matthias.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Trading at the Nigerian equities market ended south as continuous blue chip sell-offs in consumer goods and oil sectors led to a 0.14% drop in key indicators. The key broad index closed the session at 41,207.79. Market breadth remained negative, with 33 losers led by Nestle, Cadbury Nigeria and Forte Oil. On the other hand, Guinness continued to catch the eye of investors. This time, the equity added £4.44 to its share price to lead Nigerian breweries, Guarantee Trust Bank, and 17 other price appreciators. Transcorp, Sterling, and Access Banks were the 3 most actively traded stocks contributing to the day's turnover. When the stocks crossed the finish line, volume and value dropped from the previous session as investors in 5,392 deals exchanged over 200 million shares with 2.44 billion naira. That's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Victor Matthias.
Thank you, Victor. That's it on Business News. On the news at 10, we'll leave you with those other markets from around the world before Bimbo returns with the rest of the news at 10.
First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Despite a looming FIFA ban, Nigeria's Super Eagles intensify training for the 2015 AFCON qualification against Congo. Do stay with us.